The screen is pitch black. The sound of water dripping echoes in the darkness. A deep, heavy heartbeat grows louder. Suddenly, a flashlight flickers on, sweeping across a damp, moss-covered rock wall. A slow, eerie voice begins to narrate. Deep beneath the earth, where sunlight never reaches, lies another world. A world of darkness, of labyrinthine tunnels that twist endlessly, and of mysteries yet to be unraveled. A strange, bluish glow reflects off the icy water, casting grotesque shadows on the cave walls. The camera shakes slightly. A breath, sharp, uneven, breaks the silence. Then a sound, something like the whisper of wind or something far more terrifying. The Piccaninnie Submerged Cave, a place of haunting beauty hidden beneath the surface. Brave divers have ventured in, but not all have returned. What truly happened in the depths of this cavern, and is something waiting beneath the still waters? Suddenly, the screen distorts with static. A blurry, distorted image appears. A shadowy figure glides through the dark waters. The flashlight flickers. A muffled scream, then silence. Welcome to the nightmare expedition into the Piccaninnie Submerged Cave. Two men quietly slipped into one of the flooded caves, preparing for a perilous expedition that no one knew about. They dove deep into the cave, following the narrow, dark crevices as they ventured further. Suddenly, both noticed a faint light ahead, glowing from within the abyss, deep in the darkness. But that light was motionless, no flickering, no wavering with the water's current like the lamps of other divers. A chilling sensation crept through their bodies as they immediately thought of the most terrifying possibility. Someone had met a dreadful fate ahead. Panicked, the two men rushed to the surface, gasping for air before quickly alerting the authorities. And so began a story that sent shivers down the world's spine, the Piccaninnie incident. In southern Australia, along the rugged, barren coastline, lies an expansive wetland of over 862 hectares, known as Piccaninnie Pond Conservation Park, or Piccaninnie National Park. This place is famous for its vast network of submerged caves, among the deepest and most mysterious in the world. At the heart of the park is a crystal-clear, emerald blue lake that looks like a serene painting. Yet beneath its calm, silent surface lurks a deadly labyrinth where not everyone returns once they step inside. The lake's water is entirely groundwater, constantly flowing from underground aquifers, causing the water levels to shift with the seasons. Below the surface lies a cave system divided into two sections. To the east, shallow water channels about 10 meters deep provide a safe space for swimming and shallow diving. But to the west, the abyss awaits, a realm of pitch-black passageways, sheer drops, and areas named by divers with spine-chilling monikers such as the Gorge, the Cathedral, Dog's Foot, Sand Runway, and the Vault. The deepest part of this cave system reaches an astonishing 110 meters. The water here is so clear that even at a depth of 30 meters, one can see every creature darting among the aquatic plants. Yet this very clarity lures thrill-seeking divers into its depths. Since its discovery in the 1960s, Piccaninnie has been a paradise for divers, but also a graveyard for those who underestimated the need for strict safety precautions. During the 1970s and 1980s, when cave diving knowledge was still limited and equipment was primitive, the site witnessed a series of tragic accidents. The first recorded accident occurred on January 29, 1972. Two friends, Lai and Philip, had only basic freediving experience and lacked any knowledge of cave diving, yet they decided to explore Piccaninnie. Carrying only a third of the necessary air supply, they quickly submerged, exploring areas such as the crevices, the reed bed, and the immense gorge. At the cathedral, they paused in awe before deciding to turn back due to their depleting air. But as soon as they surfaced, they felt unsatisfied. Driven by curiosity, Lai insisted on diving again to reach Turtle Pond. This area was shallow, only about 4 meters deep, but contained narrow, muddy crevices. Upon discovering a tight passage, barely a meter wide, the two could not resist their curiosity and squeezed inside one after the other. However, within a few meters, the disturbed silt turned the water into an impenetrable cloud, reducing visibility to zero. Lai grasped Philip's hand to avoid getting separated, but suddenly let go and vanished into the darkness. Philip searched desperately, but could not find him and was forced to surface for help. Lai's body was later found a mere 3 meters from the exit. He had drowned, face down in the mud, his air tank completely empty. Had they carried enough air or resisted the temptation to crawl into the narrow passage, the tragedy on Trappy might never have happened. On December 23, 1974, 2 experienced divers, Brian and Colonio, set out to conquer Sand Runway, a place no one had ventured before. The day before, they had carefully placed decompression tanks along the route and marked their path with guidelines. Upon reaching Dog's Foot, visibility suddenly dropped drastically. Colonio decided to ascend, but as he turned back, he realized Brian was no longer following. He swam back and found his friend entangled in the guideline. Despite repeated efforts, Colonio could not free him and was forced to ascend alone, skipping decompression stops. Brian's body was recovered the following day at a depth of 57 meters. His mask had come loose, the rope was wrapped tightly around him, and his eyes were wide open in despair. Neither of them had thought to use a knife to cut the rope. Investigators concluded that nitrogen narcosis had impaired their judgment and actions, sealing Brian's fate. After consecutive tragedies, the National Park authorities tightened regulations, restricting diving depths to a maximum of 36.5 meters. Yet, despite the rules, many divers secretly ventured into the forbidden depths. Then in 1984, the most horrifying event of all occurred. On April 7th that year, 2 divers noticed a parked car near the lake and realized someone had arrived before them. As they descended, they saw pre-placed air tanks and decompression lines, yet throughout their dive, they saw no sign of bubbles rising to the surface. At a depth of 45 meters, they spotted a flashlight beam, but it remained eerily still. Realizing something was terribly wrong, they immediately surfaced and alerted the police. The rescue team later found 2 divers lifeless at a depth of over 50 meters, their bodies tightly entangled in guidelines, their air tanks drained. Data from their equipment revealed they had reached a depth of 68 meters. Once again, neither had used a knife to cut themselves free. Experts believe they succumbed to nitrogen narcosis, rendering them incapable of responding to the crisis. Following this catastrophe, authorities ramped up security measures. By 2008, modern equipment, 3D mapping, and a detailed cave system layout were introduced, along with stricter regulations. Today, diving at Piccaninnie requires a permit. Each session is limited to 60 minutes. Divers are restricted to 2 dives per day, and exceeding the depth of 36.5 meters is strictly forbidden. As of now, Piccaninnie Lake remains temporarily closed to allow the ecosystem to recover from an outbreak of filamentous algae, with all diving activities completely prohibited. The screen gradually fades to black, leaving only the shimmering water in the darkness. Echoing sounds remain, the distant drip of water, faint breathing, a strange noise lingering in the air. The mystery of the Piccaninnie Cave remains unsolved. The stories, the disappearances. Could there be something lurking here, something yet to be uncovered? Static flickers one last time. A shadowy figure glides through the still water, then vanishes. Silence takes over, except for a whispering voice. Do you dare to keep uncovering more terrifying mysteries? If so, like, share, and subscribe now so you won't miss the next chilling story. A dim light flashes, then the screen abruptly cuts to black.